If you hadn't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you back to another episode with the King and I. This is King, otherwise known as Soul Touch, the poet, and I am Son Solex.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Today, we're going to have the topic of obligations. And pretty much everyone I know has obligations, some shape, form, or fashion, whether they want them or not. So,
Right.
we're going to go ahead and kick it off. First intro will be being a grown-up parent, friend, and family member. We all have obligations. This
Yes,
much
we do.
we know.
Yes, we do know this. And with that lead in, the interesting part about it is, we deal with people on so many different levels, and when you deal with people on specific levels inside of that, people feel entitled. They feel like you owe them something, and with that, it just causes all kind of friction in relationships and stuff like that. So yeah, obligations are a tricky thing out here.
It is, definitely. I mean, back when we were kids, you never thought about all the obligations, that you were going to have to encounter as a grown-up, man. The worst thing or the biggest thing you had to worry about back in the day was freaking homework. Miss those days, but as a grown-up, man, you got all kind of obligations as far as like if you're in a relationship of some sort, if you have kids, you have a career, you have a job, especially when you have relatives, man, because it's kind of like you have to take on some responsibilities for the elders, i.e. your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, whatever the case may be. You have to really pick up that slack that your parents or your grandparents, where they're falling short at.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that either you're gonna take that obligation and do the best you can with it, or you're not gonna do it at all.
That's true. That is true. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So should we be obligated to help others, or should they be solely responsible for themselves? You want to tackle it first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and hit that one. The way I feel about that is, I think that as a man, or my definition of a man is, I was always raised that, your family comes first. No matter what you're doing in them streets, or no matter what kind of problems you got going on, you always make sure family is taken care of first. I'm the type that I feel like my immediate family, i.e. my wife and my child, they come first.
Right.
Everything after that is my parents, my grandparents, my siblings, so on and so forth. I put friends in that same category as family because I know some cats, like you, for example, we are tighter than some of my damn first cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, I just regard some friends closer to me than family members, brothers, as they say. But getting back on topic of the obligation that comes along with that is, I feel like you should take care of your family first before you take care of a stranger. and no disrespect to wanting to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm talking about that, I'm saying like charities, and when you see homeless people, things along that line. True enough, you want to help them, but the way I look at it is I'd rather give back to my family first before I give to a charity or I give to, someone who's less fortunate than I am. And again, that's no disrespect towards them, but I feel like you better take care of your own before you take care of someone else.
Yeah. But on top of that, as far as being obligated to help other people, that depends. Yeah, it kind of depends on who it is because um, at this point in my life, uh, I don't think anybody should be obligated to help me. Period. Um, Especially if we're not that close or anything like that. Don't nobody owe me nothing. I know we all go through rough patches and we need help here and there, no matter what type of help it is. But I think any adult, man, woman, single, married, brother, sister, stranger, whatever the case may be, for the most part, people should be responsible for taking care of themselves. Um, I was listening to I don't know if you listen to Vlad TV or not, but he had TK Kirkland on it, a comedian, and it made a very valid point. You know, if you're asking me for something, that means I have to go without to help you. And at the end of the day, that says you were irresponsible. So now I got to put whatever I have aside to help you out. But, the other part of that is stuff happens. And to be blunt, shit
True.
happens.
It damn sure do.
Especially with the way 2020 has been rolling out. But, another part of that is what were you doing prior to, uh, 2020 to set yourself up right to where nobody's obligated to help you or, nobody feels obligated to help you or you don't feel somebody's obligated to help you. And then, you definitely have to take into consideration the dynamic of that relationship with that person.
True. Very true. Um, just to come back to that, I was always taught by my father. Um, he had that mindset of if I got 50 cents, you got 25 cents of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way he felt or he still feels about family until you get to a point where you piss him off, i.e. fuck him over.
Right.
Like he'll go out of his way to help you. I don't think he does it as much as he used to, but it's kind of like if you come across my path at that time and I see you need a hand up, then I'll help you.
Right.
And that's something, I've adapted from him. But at the same time, it's one of those things that I've learned that you can't always help people.
Right, you can.
When I say that is, for example, I know people that, excuse me, who unfortunately partake in illegal substances.
Mm-hmm.
And these are family members.
Right.
I hate it for them, but there was a time where, they were straight up with me. And, if you straight up with me, I'll be straight up with you. So if you say you need something, if I got it to give or if I got it to spare, then cool, it's you.
Right, yeah.
But when I see you doing things like you're saying, that are irresponsible, especially when it comes down to your money, then no, I'm not going to help you.
You got nothing for you.
Not at all. I can't, because at that point, I see that you're trying to take advantage of me. You're using my kindness as a weakness. And I'm far from that. You know, I
Right.
just believe in taking care of family. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to fuck me over, please believe, hey, I can love your ass from a distance, homie, for real.
For
Like, we
real,
don't
for
have
real.
to speak. We ain't got to communicate. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to come to your mama house or your daddy house. And if we see each other, we're in that same space, it's all love.
Oh yeah.
But don't come asking me for shit that you know you're not going to give me back. I'm
Hmm.
not going to do that with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, that goes into the second part of that. How do we balance that with friends, family, and children? Because I think I want to go with the children part first.
All right.
Um, because as parents, and I've said this to a lot of people, a lot of females mainly, because in my experience, it's more females who do this as opposed to men. You got to get that child up off your titty, um, because our main obligation to our children is to raise you to be self-sufficient. And if you as a child, for whatever numbskull reason that you have in your brain, do not take on what you're being taught, or you take it as a joke, or you think that wishing well is going to be forever given, you got a rude awakening, because it comes a point where you're ungrateful, you're undeserving, and you don't appreciate it. So, and then it goes back to, if you having a hard time, all right, cool, but don't keep coming back to me over and over and over again because you're having a hard time. I understand that you're my child, but at some point that gets cut off. And and i and I feel that way with my own, especially if I've talked to you, we've had conversations, you look me dead in my eyes, and you appear like you've heard what I was saying, and then you go goofing off or whatever the case may be, and now you in a situation where you asking me for money and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah, which again, don't have a problem helping you out, but if I'm looking at you as my child and you're not a representative of me, I'm a little upset with that. And that obligation to me is just, it just starts to break apart.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in. I can speak on the flip side of that. As a grown man, I've been in those situations where I'm not gonna say I made the wrong decisions, but I probably could have handled certain situations better than what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I.e., quitting a job before I had another job. like, but anytime I've fallen as a child of my parents, they always, I mean, always stepped up to help me.
Right.
And when it came down to money, I simply tell them, hey, I need a loan. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. And, my parents, they raised me to be a man and handle my responsibility of, if you come to somebody and you say, hey, I need some money, you obligated to pay them back.
Right.
Now, it's on them whether they say, hey, don't worry about it or not. But anytime I've gotten a loan from my parents, I made it a point to pay them back.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though you're my parents, you're not obligated to take care of no grown ass man. You know what I'm saying?
Or a grown ass woman.
Right. So I have seen some of my other relatives do their parents wrong like that, like borrow money, promising to pay it back, and don't ever pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is your child. So your child lied to you, but that's not gonna stop you from loving them.
Right.
And again, more power to them. That's their thing, But I just can't see myself doing that. If you're going out of your way to help me, that money that you gave me, you could have put towards a bill, or you could have put towards buying you something that you needed,
Right.
but you
Yeah.
put that off for me. You know what I'm saying? So as a child, I'm very grateful to my parents for all the loans they've given me. Fortunately, more loans than what I really wanted to ask them for, but
Right.
it is what it is. Certain situations happen that, sometimes are out of our controls, and some situations we just have to learn from it.
Yeah, true. And I can even speak on that, from a child's point of view, because I remember when I first got off active duty, I was staying with family, and it was cool because I was contributing to the house, blah blah blah. And then I'm gonna say from like shoot 99, maybe 98, 99 to maybe 2004, I was staying with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was cool, but it got to the point, and she, she didn't ask for much or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Um, no, but it got to the point when I got deployed, came back my 6 month break. I was like, when I come back, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this no more. I refuse to do this anymore. And it's like I could have stayed, but and I will say that I stayed as long as I did because I was comfortable. You
Right.
know, I didn't have to. But it got to the point where it was like, you know what? I got to get off the titty. I got to get off my mother's titty. I just got to get off. And when I got off, I didn't ever go back. And for me, it's not even. I know it's being a man, but it's not even being a man. It's just about progressing, period, as a
Right.
person. And so I had to get rid of that situation so that I didn't feel like, well, you're my mother, so you're obligated to uh, provide this, that, and the other. And then on the flip side of that, just because I'm your son and I'm staying in your house, there's certain things I'm not obligated to do. Like for
Right.
me, I strongly hate buying cigarettes for anybody, period. Just because you're my mother, I shouldn't be obligated to buy cigarettes. And I can say that's a small thing, but to me, it's
Right.
like that's not contributing anything good. So why am I doing it? Um, and and when I look at my own child, dude, you're almost 30 years old. What are you doing? I'm not obligated to take care of you. You know, I gave you the opportunity over the summer or this past summer to come to my house to get yourself together.
Uh-huh.
You did absolutely nothing with yourself. Nothing. Made excuses, this, that, and the other. Then you run back to Arkansas with these crazy situations, and you got crazy situations. And for me, I'm like, I'm not obligated to any of your madness because, first and foremost, as your father, I'm like, dude, come. My obligation is to help you when you're down,
Right.
help you to get up when you're down, even though the drive to get up should be your own. But hey, I'm here to assist, give you an alley oop, whatever the case may be. If you don't want that, if you don't want it my way, then I'm not obligated. I'm not obligated. Period. I'm just not obligated because if you don't want nothing for yourself, I'm not obligated to deal with that headache. I'm just not, and I'm not going to do
No,
it.
not at all.
I'm not going to do it.
I mean, at some point, as a parent, like you said, there has to be that point where you say, I'm not going to do this with you anymore.
Right.
I love you. I want to see you do, the best you can in life. I want to see you progress in life. But at the same time, I can't allow you and your situations to take away from me and what it is I'm trying to do, in the course of my life. So I totally get that and I follow that.
Mm-hmm.
My father, he's the type that, again, he'll do the best he can for you. And even me as his son, I know that there's a point where he'll be like, you know what? Nigga, you on your own. You know what I'm saying? It's like if he sees me doing something that he know is irresponsible, i.e. tricking off with my money or not getting out there and getting it for myself, he'll watch, he'll observe, and then he'll be like, you know what? You're on your own. Mm-hmm. So that was one of those things that I learned
right, yeah,
just by watching how other people in our family interact with my dad. And my dad be like, you know what? I've done as much as I can for you. You want to continue to make these bad decisions, so love you from a distance.
Yeah, I mean, and that rolls into family members too. I mean, I know we spoke about it before. You have a tighter family bond than I do, and when it comes to certain things, it's like I don't feel an obligation. I'll do what I feel is within the boundaries of our relationship. And that's not to say that if you really, really, really need something that I won't help where I can. Right. But if we don't have a relationship to where it was always stated or always situated or always unspoken, unwritten that if you down, I got you, then we can't rock like that. Because for me, for a lot of the ups and downs that I've had over the past, I'll just say 10 years, I would ask close friends other than ask family, just because, I have a tighter bond with those friends than I do with my family when it comes to things of that nature. But right. And that's not to say I can't count on my family or my family can't count on me. It's just, certain things, certain people are better positioned, or I feel better going to those people for those things.
I totally get that. Just to give an example of dealing with friends, I had a friend / business partner, right? Mm-hmm. This back when I was heavy in the real estate game. But anyway, we would do deals and stuff, and make our money or whatever. And it got to a point where my friend, my business partner, this is my homie now. Mm-hmm. It got to a point where this cat owed me damn near $3,000.
Wow.
I mean, to some people, that's not a whole lot of money. Mm-hmm. And, I take my hat off to you for that. But for me, at that time, that was a lot of money.
That hurts.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm not going to mention his name. He probably not even forgot about that shit. But the thing about it is, this type of money, you don't forget.
You don't.
And then on top of that, you still come back with me or come back to me asking for more money after we just done made a major deal. Wow. And you done blew through your shit. Like that's totally irresponsible. So the last time he came to me talking about, hey man, I need a small loan, I was like, bro, I ain't even got it.
Right.
Which was a lie.
Right.
My account was still stacked. But the point being is, it just got to a point where, you like my brother, I love the hell out you. You're my business partner, but nigga, I can't keep, supplying your damn habit, which is not being smart with your money. It just don't add up. But
And,
no hard feelings. We still cool to this day.
but the crazy thing, back since you mentioned that, you said I don't have it, but you had it. Are we obligated to, you know, be straight up with them? Do we just, well, nah, I ain't got it, knowing I got it, or just say, oh, nah, I'm not giving that to you because you burnt me last time I hooked you up? Um,
It's a good question.
because I know all too often, instead of us as a whole saying, no, I'm not doing this, I'm not giving it to you because of X, Y, and Z, we try to sugarcoat and soften the blow with people by saying, oh, nah, I don't have it. Um, and I think overall that gives a disservice to that person, even
Right.
though we're not obligated to tell anybody anything, but I think there's an obligation to be upfront in certain situations to prevent that person from coming back later, because um, hey, you tell somebody, oh, I ain't got it, and when you tell somebody you ain't got it, they definitely paying attention to you, and
Mm-hmm.
and and 9 times out of 10 they know you got it. Uh, and it's like, why not just be like, oh, nah, I'm not messing with you like that because blah blah blah, you did this, that, and the other, and then you go back and forth with, they give an excuse or this, or I won't do it again, and it's like, just be firm and be like, nah, I ain't got it. You know,
Yeah.
It- you know, and that's the crazy thing about that aspect of obligations, because it's like, I'm obligated to tell the truth when it comes to certain things, but I hold an obligation to myself to protect my whatever by just blowing you off and telling you, some foreign stuff.
Yeah. The way I feel about it is like this, and not making excuses for it, because the point that you're making about being straight up is probably would have been the best way to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were actually in the middle of another deal, which was a deal that probably could, uh, just remembering back to it, we probably could have made about a good $3 or $4 million off that deal.
Oh wow.
Um, but it didn't go through. I thank God that it didn't, because I just got to a point where I'm like, you know what? If you trick off with the amount of money that we got, with the amount of money we got, I'm not gonna say
Mm-hmm.
any numbers or anything, but what will you do if we get that type of money?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
get that kind of money, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
If you're taking
Yeah.
the smaller amount of money and tricking it off, buying cars and motorcycles and welder gals, women, but if you do that with that amount of money, what you gonna do when we get to these real M's? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, that deal fell through, and that actually turned out to be the last deal that me and him attempted to do with each other.
Wow. That's just
And
crazy. Crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
I'm totally grateful, now looking back on it, that it didn't go through,
Mm-hmm.
because uh, if I'm the type of person, again, if I give somebody my word, I don't take that shit lightly.
Right.
I don't do everything I can up until I can't do anymore to keep my
Mm-hmm.
word to you.
Right.
So if I tell you, hey, I can do this, then I see I can't do it, I'm just gonna come up to you and say, hey man, uh, I know I said I could do it, but I can't do it.
Right. Yeah.
Might want to look somewhere else.
Yep. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I felt like his obligation to me was to not keep coming back to me for money.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm giving you what you say you need, uh, to get past your situation, my obligation stopped there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer obligated to keep giving you money when I see you're not making the right decisions with your money.
But at the same time, to go along, even go along with that, if you're going into business with someone, you're pretty much obligated to meet that person halfway.
Right.
If you can't uh, obligate yourself to meet that person halfway, then you shouldn't even step into that because you know it's an imbalance, and
It
and and
is.
as a partner, you're obligated to keep us balanced, whether it be 60-40, 80-20, which we don't want no damn 80-20. We want closer to
Hell no.
50-50 as we want. But
Exactly.
going into it, your obligation is, hey, we in this together. All right, you may need something, a little something here or there, but at the end of the day, you know you're obligated to keep us level. And if I'm holding my weight and then I got to hold your weight, and our obligation is to this deal, I'm obligated to this deal because that's what we jumped into. Not only are you not obligated to this deal, you're not even obligated to me as a partner. So you know that just it doesn't balance out. It doesn't work. It causes too much friction, and
It definitely
then
does.
it goes back into um what people feeling entitled, if
Right.
because if I'm holding the weight and you asking me for stuff and I gotta stop giving you, now you mad because you feel entitled because I'm not foolishly obligating my resources to your desires, and that's can't do that.
No, you can't. Especially when it comes down to business, you can't.
Yeah,
Man, again, we still great friends to this day. He's one of those people. Again, I consider as a brother. He called me in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, I need you. Where you at?"
you're right.
But when it comes down to business, I learned that lesson. So I'm not gonna go in that direction. Not with you. Like, hell no.
Nah, bro, you ain't getting that here. Sorry. Gotta go.
Okay,
See you when I see you.
for sure.
Oh
But
man, that's crazy though. Yeah. That was part one of obligations and expectations. Look forward to you joining us for part two. Let's get it.